One Zambia, One Nation, and welcome to ZANIS News. We look at the top stories in the news. KCM sets aside $270 million to clear creditors. Construction of local courts underway in Western Province. 200 houses for vulnerable individuals completed. Plus over 6,000 children born with heart complications. Vice President Mwanawasa has reiterated the government's continued commitment to working with traditional leaders and the church in fostering national development. Speaking when she called on Chief Mumena of the Kaonde people of Kalumbila district, Mrs. Nalumanga, who is also acting president, says government remains open to sharing ideas with the traditional leadership. She said it was a known fact that the country has been hit by drought and noted that the government is on top of things and will ensure no one dies of hunger. Earlier, Northwestern Province Minister Robert Liefu says the province was stable and that the distribution of relief maize was going on smoothly. Mrs. Nalumanga has further commissioned the Maheba Extension Grid project meant to light up the refugee resettlement scheme. She later interacted with pupils at Maheba Boarding Secondary School.
The issue of social cash transfer, Your Excellency, is not just the ordinary social cash transfer that is given every year. There is an increase. We have put on board those that have fallen into vulnerability because of the drought. Those have also been included under immediate social cash transfer. I am saying what the plan is, Royal Highness, so that tomorrow, next year like this, people don't say what has happened. Because this is immediate social cash transfer. It is unlike the permanent one, where people that may be very vulnerable because of their physical status, meaning people with disability, others are old people that may not afford. But this immediate one is for those that are capable to do something, but because they did everything possible, they have nothing. They didn't harvest. Those are people that have been included. But this is not a permanent situation. They will be looked after until another harvest.
As a province, we are politically stable, socially okay. As you are aware, your government, our government, has scaled up the social cash transfer. And recently, Your Honor, you are aware you gave a directive and food was released in our province. We just flagged off the distribution of our relief food in Northwestern Province, Kasempa in particular.
Now, Konkola Copper Mines KCM Chief Financial Officer designate Manishi Sazena says the company has so far set aside $270 million as initial capital to clear creditors immediately it concludes negotiations with government. And KCM management has since reiterated its commitment to respecting the working relationship between the Zambian government and its people under the new scheme of arrangement once it takes over full control of the mine. The KCM management said this when Special Assistant for Finance and Investments to the President, Jito Kayumba, called on the company today. Details in this report.
In 2019, KCM was forced into liquidation, resulting in low copper production. However, the coming in of the European administration has seen the two parties get talking to revamp operations at the mine. Vendetta has since started preparations for operations once it takes over the mine upon the conclusion of the scheme of arrangement that is before the High Court.
As per the scheme of arrangement, that is 100% money to be paid to this list 1 creditors, which we owed them, KCM owed them less than $1 million each, and on a pro rata basis to the scheme 2 creditors. So that money will be brought in by Vedanta, which will, I'm sure, turn the fortunes of Chingola, Kitwe, Chillabombe and various other places from where these vendors come from. They were wrongfully deprived of their rightful dues for past 5 or more years. As per the scheme, government Vedanta has committed to invest around $1 billion over the next 5 years for development of that KDMP project, which Praveen alluded to. So that will take care of the enhancement of the reserves and the resources for this mine. So that also is committed by virtue of the agreement between Vedanta and the government of Zambia.
Vedanta says it is deeply committed to Zambia and the Zambian people and is fully aligned with the country's vision of producing over 3 million metric tons of copper annually in the next 10 years.
The second part, of course, is the impact that restarting will have on the community immediately. Right, and this is the $20 million as per the community commitment that Vedanta has undertaken with the government. So that $20 million will be administered through an independent trust fund that's been set up. It's all ready to go. So what we would see is a flow through to the community, and that's not a one-off $20 million. That's $20 million per annum. So I think that's something we can do immediately, you know, to support the community and to start to regain that trust and build that relationship.
Vedanta is putting in place a strategy to invest $1.3 billion United States dollars to expand and modernize KCM and to increase the annual production of copper from the current 70,000 metric tons to 300,000 metric tons in the medium term. The company also says it remains committed to meeting its agreed obligation of $270 million United States dollars payment to all local small suppliers and contractors and to operationalize its proposed community development initiative, for which it has allocated $20 million United States dollars a year. Special Assistant to the President for Finance and Investments, Jito Kayumba, has since called on management at the mine to assure them of government's unwavering support towards its investments.
Ours is that we are happy. Well, of course, we're optimistic. I won't say cautiously, because I like to maintain optimism that's very clear, that you will fulfill your pledge to ensure that you regain the confidence and trust of the citizens of Chingola, Chillabombe, and really the country at large. And with that being said, we know that, you know, with the past having been what it was, there's no way that we'll go the wrong way, because we have too much to lose and so much to gain if we don't do the right thing in terms of working closely with local communities, suppliers, employees, and so on.
Kalan Mochima, reporting for ZANIS in Chingola, Copperbelt Province.
Also in the news, the Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Paul Kabuswe, has officially launched the 2024 Zambia Mining and Investment Insaka in Lusaka. Mr. Kabuswe disclosed that government aims to return 90% of gold that goes outside the country. Kasweka Sakaimbo reports.
Zambia has a long mining history which dates back to the 1920s, with copper production as one of the main and largest produced minerals in the world. This is why government, through the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development, has launched the Zambia Mining and Investment Insaka, dubbed Mining Beyond Copper, celebrating 100 years of mining in Zambia. Speaking during the launch, Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Paul Kabuswe, said the Insaka will foster partnerships and showcase the country's mineral beyond copper.
The Insaka will serve as a platform for the stakeholders to address mining challenges, foster partnerships, and showcase the country's mineral potential beyond copper, increase investment in exploration and development. Zambia aims to attract investment in both brownfield and greenfield projects. The anticipated benefits include enhanced mineral exploration development, job creation, and of course, increased revenue for our treasury.
And Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development Permanent Secretary Hapenga Kabeta said the Insaka is a pivotal moment for Zambia towards a bright future.
With the global shift towards green energy and the rise of electric vehicles, Zambia is well positioned to become a key player or key supplier of critical minerals such as copper, nickel, lithium, graphite, among others.
The Chamber of Mines has since commended government for taking such an initiative.
I have a once-in-a-100-year opportunity to turn around the industry, and that is the pivotal moment we are in. And this combines with a will from government to make all of this happen, therefore making this the ideal time for Zambia to take its place on the global stage by holding such an event as this.
The proposed INSACA, slated for the 7th to 11th October 2024, is expected to attract approximately 2,500 local and international delegates who have shown great interest in the mining industry in the country. Kasweka Sakaimbo reporting, Lusaka.
And now in the energy sector, Ndola Energy Power Plant on the Copperbelt province has launched the start of the supply of 105 megawatts of power into the national grid to cushion the impact of load management, which has affected the country. Minister of Energy Peter Kapala, who witnessed the launch together with Minister of Information and Media Cornelius Mwetwa, appealed to the company to increase its generation capacity by adding 200 megawatts of power using solar. Here are the details.
Ndola Energy Power Plant has switched on the generation of the 105 megawatts of power into the national grid to assist the country in addressing the power challenges, which has resulted into load shedding. Minister of Energy Peter Kapala, Minister of Information and Media Cornelius Mwetwa, Copper Belt Minister Elisha Matambo, and other senior government officials were at hand to launch the generation of power intended to cushion the energy crisis.
Diversification agenda, the government has requested Ndola Energy to expand the plant and add 200 megawatts of solar. And please note that the government is happy to work with private players to participate in the diversifying the power needs of our country. As earlier stated, 85% of our installed capacity is from hydro, which is prone to climate change. Therefore, independent power producers, commonly known as IPPs, are welcome to invest in the energy sector as the government has put up conducive environment for private sector participation.
Minister of Information and Media, Cornelius Mwetwa, has commended the company for coming to the aid of government in ensuring that the load management the country is experiencing is reduced.
As government, therefore, are elated to be in this worthy partnership with Ndola Energy Company, responding to this drought, putting in place measures to mitigate and ameliorate the sufferings of our people. We are further elated as government to hear the prospects of Ndola Energy Company that you intend to invest in the production of another 200 megawatts of power.
Copper Belt Minister Elisha Matambo is happy that a lot of developments has happened here on the Copper Belt, and the addition of the 105 megawatts into the national grid will assist the country.
In the midst of the storm, we will come out stronger, because going forward, we will never only wait for the rains to have electricity. We will never only wait for the rains to have good maize to do agriculture. The president has gone outside the box. This is what we are doing here. The private sector is brought on board. This is where I want to say we salute Honorable Brian Mushimba and the team for coming on board as private sector to come and reopen this 105 megawatts.
Energy Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Brian Mushimba, has also announced that the company will be investing into solar energy, where about 200 megawatts of power will be added to the national grid.
I want to commend government. This occasion would not have happened if
if it was not for the dedication, the leadership, the commitment of government to make sure that we get to where we are today. Honorable Minister, guest of honor, we thank you for your leadership and take this message to His Excellency, the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, that his leadership in making sure that this plant restarted and add the megawatts to the grid, his vision has been realized today by your presence and what we are doing now.
Starting of the generation of power at Ndora Energy will help the country in cushioning the deficit of electricity which has affected many households and many Zambians in the country. Tovini Ngombe, ZANIS, Ndola.
Meanwhile, the Energy Regulation Board, ERB, has urged Zambians to purchase alternative energy equipment from licensed dealers to avoid being exploited. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, Green Economy and Climate Change Director Ephraim Shutima says government, with supporting partners, have made strides in adopting renewable energy. The duo said this during the recording of a program called Power Talk for ZANIS Television in Lusaka. Sharon Walia filed in this report.
The current energy crisis the country is experiencing has led to a significant increase in the prices of alternative energy sources as a result of the surging demand of the commodities. In response to this, the Energy Regulation Board, ERB, has urged residents to purchase alternative energy equipment from licensed dealers to avoid being exploited. ERB licensing manager Nelson Banda said this during the Power Talk program on ZANIS Television in Lusaka.
The demand for gas has really gone up because of this crisis we are in. It's not something that really was anticipated. Okay? So the demand has really outstripped the supply. But one thing for sure is no one should take advantage of the consumers and price something outside the limit that the ERB has set. So like I mentioned, in line with one of our functions, if for whatever reason there's someone who is offering gas at a price that is not approved by the ERB, please get in touch with us. We are able to move in quickly and rectify that issue. We don't expect anyone out there who is licensed by the ERB to take advantage of the situation and begin to charge exorbitant prices that are not approved by the ERB.
The Ministry of Green Economy and Environment is pleased that the government, with cooperating partners, have made significant strides in adopting renewable energy.
Have interest in the energy sector because to transition to a green economy, energy is very critical because that is what powers our economy. Yeah, there is a number of interventions that are coming up in terms of renewable sources. For example, you may recall that sometime last year, the Minister of Energy, Honorable Kapala, launched a $300 million project in Serenge. Then of late, you may also be aware that the Copperbelt Energy Company on the Copperbelt is coming on very strong with renewable energy. They have set up a number of solar plants. All these are initiatives that are going to contribute to increase our energy capacity and therefore reduce on our dependence on hydropower. Of course, energy projects naturally take long to be online, but these are interventions that are being speeded up, and hopefully once they are done, and many more beyond those, they are going to enhance our energy capacity and security as a country. But from our side, as Minister of Green Economy and Environment, this elates us because these are green energy sources, and that means that we are killing two birds with one stone. We are not only increasing our energy security as a country, but we are also addressing environmental issues.
Sharon Wale reporting for ZANIS in Lusaka.
And now ZESCO has recorded a reduced power usage in the Mazabuka farming block for the last 2 months. ZESCO Southern and Western Province Senior Regional Manager Given Monde said the reduction is as a result of a mutual agreement on consumer-centered rationing of power that was made in April between the utility company and Delta Farms of Mazabuka. And speaking when he took ZANIS journalist from ZANIS on the tour of the farm, Mr. Monde explained that the action serves water in the Karibadan as the power generation is reduced, thereby rationing water usage Details in this report.
Zambia has been experiencing a continuous reduction in water levels at the Kariba Dam owing to low rainfall in the 2023-2024 rainy season. The decline has resulted in a significant reduction in the dam's power generation capacity, leading to the country's utility company resorting to load management. This decision underscored the need for sustainable energy management strategies such as stakeholder engagement to achieve ZESCO's vision of providing sustainable electricity to the people. In Mazabuka district, from the Mazabuka farming block to devise a power rationing plan that enables them manage the usage of power to ensure that supply to Chikankata Hospital and the nearby Neganega mine is not interrupted.
Before the whole system integrates with ZESCO, so when the solar goes off, because the sun's gone down, it seamlessly integrates into ZESCO and carries on running on ZESCO during the night when we're on power. So during the day when we're on load shedding, it's on solar, and at night when we're off and on ZESCO power, it translates to ZESCO.
ZESCO Southern and Western Province Senior Regional Manager disclosed that through this initiative, the company is able to save about 5.6 megawatts per day.
The rationale behind this one is that we have lines under ZESCO Mazabuka that feed different customers, but this particular one, the biggest community is the farming community. Then there's a hospital and a mine. But then for the hospital and the mine, we have a challenge because we deal with life at the hospital and we deal with underground operations at the mines. So we avoid to switch off such installation. How do we mitigate? We need to meet halfway because we need to shed the power. There are customers sitting on this line. Drive, in instance, 160 kilometers. You come for 40, go back another 40, just like that. Then that's a huge cost on ZESCO. So that's the second motivation for people to do their own power rationing. So the model was tested and it's working, that the farmers are taking out their own load. The hospital is not affected because they will remain with the little power that to sustain the hospital.
And Elite Technologies Consultancy, who are the implementers of the project, highlighted more on the installations.
It can also, it just works when it has to work. It automatically changes over to ZESCO when there's, not enough sun. Maybe it's really cloudy, or in the evenings as it starts getting dark. And then there's a generator backup in case the irrigation is absolutely critical. The generators will actually work. Then on the center pivots themselves, we also installed hybrid inverter systems with battery capacity. So they will actually pretty much work off-grid as long as the pumps are working.
Audrey Kalenga for ZANIS in Mazabuka, Southern Province.
We now take a break, and when we get back, 200 houses completed for vulnerable individuals and more stories to come. Stay tuned.
Woman Thou Art is a program that offers counsel to the female folk, sharing real-life experiences and providing guidance to the women and young girls on necessary steps and conducts that will help shape and nurture a sober society. Watch Woman Thou Art on ZANIS TV every Wednesday at 18:30 hours on the Topstar channel, channel 6 DTT, and channel 458 DTH.
We continue with the news. Now, government says it is currently constructing 200 housing units in the country under the first social housing program for caste and vulnerable individuals registered for social cash transfers. Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, Charles Melupi, says about 200 housing units are already completed in Central, Eastern, Southern and Western provinces. He said this when he officiated at the 2024 National Housing Forum in Lusaka, being hosted under the theme Unlocking, Strengthening and Repositioning the Housing Value Chain towards Affordable and Decent Housing for All by 2030. Muna Chibende has the details.
Good housing is a catalyst for economic stability and growth. This is because when individuals and families have secure and affordable housing, they can allocate their resources towards other essential needs, such as education, healthcare, and skill development. It is for this reason that the Ministry of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development opened the 2024 National Housing Forum in Lusaka.
As part of these efforts, the ministry is currently implementing a phased social housing program focused on vulnerable individuals registered for social cash transfers. Currently, 200 housing units are under construction, with some already completed in central, eastern, southern, and western provinces. Additionally, we have commenced construction of 4 homes for the aged in Kinsali, Ndola, Choma, and the Mongo districts. Procurement processes for the 5th project in Kalumbila district are on course. These homes are part of phase 1 with plans to build similar facilities in each of the 10 provinces.
And the National Housing Authority Board Chairperson, Nalukwi Milapo, disclosed that the authority's interventions is to ensure decent housing for all Zambians.
We have recently entered into an important partnership with China Jiangsu to set up a factory that will accelerate the construction of houses by manufacturing prefabricated building materials. The factory will be launched in the next month or so. We know that right now the stock is on the way for that particular factory. We also have another MOU with Panorama, where we intend to build up to 3,000 affordable housing units. Here at home, we are in talks with the Zambia National Building Society to leverage on their financing for housing.
Meanwhile, Habitat for Humanity Board Chairperson Mwanawasa highlighted the economic impacts of decent accommodation.
The economic and social impact of housing construction in Africa, and Zambia in particular, is significant. What are the economic impacts? 1. Job creation. Housing construction, which generates employment opportunities in construction, manufacturing, and services. 2. GDP growth. Housing investment contributes to GDP growth, stimulating economic activity. 3. Infrastructure development. Housing construction often accompanies infrastructure development such as roads, utilities, and social amenities. 4. Increased tax revenue. Government benefits from taxes and levies on housing development and sales. 5. Economic multiplier effect.
Munachwende for ZANIS in Lusaka.
And now, the Zambia Development Agency and GED Africa Limited, a concessionaire on the Kasomeno-Mwendato Road and Luapula Bridge, have successfully signed an Investment Promotion and Protection Agreement (IPPA). And GED Africa Limited Legal and Compliance Manager Ernest Mate says the IPPA is a huge milestone and a testament to ZDA and government's commitment to protecting their investments in the country. Mr. Mate said the Kasomeno-Mwendato Road project, which is located in the northern part of Zambia, is a landmark and groundbreaking infrastructure project that is owned by GED Africa, which is sponsored by the Hungarian business Duna Asphalt.
The signing ceremony of our IPPA, which is an investment protection and promotion agreement, is a huge milestone in our project. That's because it symbolizes the commitment by the ZDA and the Zambian government to protecting our investments in the country, which is valued at an amount of about $500 million, but also it just shows support for our project and also that we have a good relationship with the Zambian government. Well, our project is going to have a number of benefits to the country and that region. It's going to, one, foster and strengthen our bilateral relationship with Congo, and also foster increased trade.
The investment environment in Zambia now is at its best,
and it's at its highest. We have seen for the past 3 years, we have committed investments of $50 billion plus. This is hugely commendable to the work that His Excellency, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, is undertaking as our Chief Marketing Officer to promote Zambia in the region, in Africa, and in the rest of the world.
And now in education news, Handman's Lime Limited has handed over a 1x2 housing units for teachers constructed at a cost of over 650,000 kwacha at Mwaya Primary School in Masaiti District. And receiving the housing units, Copperbelt Province Permanent Secretary Augustine Kasongo implored the teachers at the school to ensure they provide quality education and spend more time with the learners, as they will now be accommodated within the school premises. Here is a report.
This is Mwaya Primary School, which started as a community school in 2007. Over the years, the school has grown but has lagged behind in terms of infrastructure for learners and the teachers. It is against this background that Handman's Lime Limited has come to the aid of the school by constructing a 1x2 staff housing unit powered with solar.
As a company, we have also adopted one of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Goals, specifically looking at quality education. With the provision of quality housing and accommodation for our teachers, we believe that we are going to positively impact on the education of the young school children.
Copperbelt Province Permanent Secretary Mr. Augustine Kasongo has commended Handman's Lime Limited and made an appeal.
To state that government cannot achieve this huge task on its own without intervention of other skilled players. But as government, we are very, very happy for you trying back in the community through the building of the infrastructure that you have come to witness to. I think I want to take this opportunity to challenge all the companies that are operating in this system to emulate what the Handman's Lime Company have done.
Masaiti District Commissioner Eni Matutu has an encouragement for the learners.
Handman's Paradise. Ni mwebo kwa kusukulu mkusambirira. Barombeti weme kuleta manganda abatija ape barukula lapano. Ifingi barabira. Okusambishe ne kingulo. Baramwana mweba na mwebene. Mungeshi wakati mulime shuko. Kukwata ba president abalanduka babana. About free education. Wakati mwe respond kubisa kusukulu.
And the traditional leadership has urged the community to safeguard the infrastructure.
Ikapombya abantu balabona kuti ngati kwati kalyakamenda bantu balikakulwire kama bika mpokoti kushuku wakatulitana iyi misamba mwana tulileke kulokwetu kali kwe kukashubwe mwa kusombana utakusombana uya ntashiwa tulete.
Handman's Lime Limited are yet to construct another 1x3 classroom block at Mwaya Primary School. Nkwachichanda, ZANIS, Masaiti District.
And Mongu District Commissioner Morgan Akaveswa has called on all Zambians to uphold peace and unity as the country marks 60 years of independence. Mr. Akaveswa was speaking when the Zambia Nation Education Coalition ZANIC team from Lusaka paid a courtesy call on him and said that for 60 years Zambia has lived in peace despite the 73 tribes that make up the country. Details in this report.
Zambia marks 60 years of independence. Various stakeholders have reflected on how the journey has been since 1964. Mongu District Commissioner Morgan Akaveswa explained how the Zambian people should treat one another as the country clocks 60 years of independence.
This year Zambia
In October, we'll be turning 60 years since we attained independence. And my aspiration is that we need to continue to have this peace that we've had from 1964. And my aspiration is that with the diversity that we have, we need to continue to live in peace. All tribes embraced as one Zambia, one nation, we continue. Because doing that, this is the way we are going to develop this country, where each and every person is free to live wherever they want to live, speak the language that they want, than segregating people in terms of languages. We also want, by now, Zambia in each and every province, we expect that in education-wise, we need to have a university to reduce on people moving across very far distances. Health-wise, we need to be entrenched now that in each and every constituency, there ought to be a hospital that is able to attend to the people within that constituency, to reduce them moving from Kalabo going to Mongo, from Shangombo coming to that. We need those to be done. And Zambia now, we need to be improving even these mortality rates where we need to live longer. They expect on the production in terms of agriculture, food security. We have issues in Zambia because we depend so much on maize, we depend so much on water. We need to go now into irrigation and start planting other plants that are so resistant to this climate change that have come to stay with us.
Various players in the education sector have added their voices on how the education sector has evolved since 1964. Zambia National Education Coalition ZANIS board members Paul Zulu and Saka Sokontwe shared their thoughts on Zambia celebrating the Diamond Jubilee.
When you look at what is trending now, this issue to do with artificial intelligence, for example, is our curriculum in line with what is trending across the globe? When you look at our curriculum that we have now, there's a component of decolonization of our education. It has come at the right time that we're turning 60, and we have to undo some of the things that were done when our forefathers were founding this country.
So our hope for the future beyond the 60 years is for us to look at the global level. What is obtaining now? Education is transforming, technology is being introduced, the world is changing globally, socially and economically. So how do we then, as an organization, contribute to ensuring that the government puts in place an education that will respond or prepares this child for the future moving forward?
Zambia will, on October 24th this year, celebrate 60 years of independence under the theme 60 Years Strong, honoring our heritage, embracing the future. Sandra for ZANIS in Mongo district.
We now take another break, and when we return, over 6,000 children born with heart complications. Stay tuned.
Zambia Today is a program that keeps you informed on various government policies and programs. Join us every Tuesday at 18 hours on ZANIS TV, Topstar platform, channel 6 DTT and 458 DTH. Don't miss.
We continue with agriculture news. Now, the Department of Livestock in Southern Province has so far administered a booster vaccine to over 68,000 cattle against the anthrax disease in Sinazongwe district. Southern Province Veterinary Officer Wilfred Tembo told ZANIS that the department has additionally vaccinated over 53,000 goats and 2,300 sheep against the disease. Wakumelo Sitali has more details in this report.
Last year, many livestock farmers lost their animals due to the anthrax disease that broke out in most parts of the country. However, in a bid to curb another outbreak of the anthrax disease, the Department of Livestock in Southern Province is currently administering a booster vaccine to animals in Sinazongwe district. Southern Province Veterinary Officer Wilfred Tembo highlights the progress of the exercise.
This year, in order to give further protection of the animals against anthrax, we have given a booster vaccination. We have vaccinated over 68,395 cattle in Sinazongwe alone, which translates to more than 90% of the cattle vaccinated. We have also vaccinated over 53,000 goats and over 2,300 sheep. So meaning that in total, we have vaccinated over 124,000 animals if you were to put all the livestock units together.
The department wants to ensure all animals are vaccinated to prevent the outbreak of anthrax and other zoonotic diseases.
So we will ensure that all the animals are vaccinated, and we are appealing to our farmers to ensure that whichever animal was missed out during vaccination is presented to the area veterinary assistants to ensure that their animals are vaccinated.
As of November 2023, cases of the anthrax disease were recorded in 44 districts across 9 provinces, with Sinazongwe district recording 287 cases out of the 684 recorded across the country. Wakumelo Stali, reporting for ZANIS in Sinazongwe district, Southern Province.
Central Province Permanent Secretary Mwanawasa has announced that 76.9% of the 75 samples that were collected to identify the livestock disease reported to have killed cattle in Chibombo are said to have common tick-borne disease. And Dr. Mwanawasa has also clarified that about 100 cattle died from the disease, and that was reported last month and not 300 as initially reported by the affected farmers in Mikalashi area. Shupekule Nkunika has the details with the following report.
3 weeks ago, a livestock disease was reported to have killed 300 cattle, affecting 26 villages in Chiwombo's Mikalashi area.
Ndaringo chite ngombe sharengo kwa na 21. Unowenka mwaka ndafuisha ngombe shitokwa na 11. Meaning pachara ngombe shiri 10.
Ngombe kuno kuchoko cha kumukalashi shafwa maningi kwera na baba previous headman Bobamba. Then kukusengesha kwesu twabona dinji chitolenga malwashi nga matix ya shishikuluma ngombe shibanza.
Kembe Member of Parliament Princess Kasune, who was then also Central Province Minister, led a team of officers from the veterinary department to investigate the disease. The investigations have been concluded, and Central Province Permanent Secretary Mwanawasa has shared the findings.
The main disease, after the tests were done, out of the 75 samples that were done, I wish to now confirm that 76.9% came out positive that it was tick-borne disease. So,
apparently, the farmers were using uncertified drugs to treat their animals.
It was discovered that our farmers were actually treating their animals with Imezoi, Pavaxone, and oxycycline, if you like. And animals would show some signs of recovery, and thereafter they die.
Which worsened the situation.
We discovered that actually most of the farmers in that area were buying medicines from farm workers, which medicines were not labeled, which medicines were not known. And those are the medicines that they were using to inject the animals. And these are workers from commercial farmers, and additionally, it is worth mentioning that farmers were giving little dosage.
Shupekile Nkunika for ZANIS in Kabwe.
Now, Minister of Health Permanent Secretary for Technical Services, Kennedy Lishimpi, says the National Heart Hospital in Chongwe has since 2021 conducted heart surgery on 4,500 children. Dr. Lishimpi was speaking during the medical evacuation pediatric cardiac surgery mission at the National Heart Hospital, where he noted that over 6,000 children are born with heart complications every year in Zambia. Let's take a look at this report by Evelyn Bewe.
A team of health specialists from Czech Republic has arrived in the country to offer help in conducting heart surgery for children with heart complications at the National Heart Hospital. These specialists, working together with the Zambian health specialists at this institution, have so far successfully operated on 4 children.
This is the preference. One of the patients that we operated on is doing very well now. We've removed all the tubes that he had, and now he's just remaining with the oxygen. So once the oxygen is out, we'll now take him to the ward. So he's made.
Minister of Health Permanent Secretary for Technical Services, Dr. Kennedy Lishimpi, said Zambia is among countries that are struggling with heart complications, hence the need to enhance such collaborations.
It is estimated that 6,000 children are born with heart disease in Zambia. Rheumatic heart disease, which is a preventable disease, is the leading cause of hospital admission as well as death at the National Heart Hospital. Since its inception in 2021, this hospital has received over 1,500 patients with rheumatic heart disease alone. The Ministry of Health is aware of the challenges our citizens face to access specialized cardiac care.
And Czech ambassador accredited to Zambia says that the program is designed to offer free services to the clients.
Today, we welcome the first mission of the Czech pediatric surgeons, which has been deployed in the hospital. Czech doctors and nurses, specialists in pediatric heart surgery, side by side with their Zambian colleagues. The main objective of this mission is to establish cooperation in the treatment of the young surgical patients and to ensure a transfer of the Czech know-how in the pediatric heart surgery.
The Czech specialist will be in the country for 7 days with a mission to conduct surgery on 10 children. Evelyn Masialeti, reporting for ZANIS in Chongwe District.
And now in Luapula Province, the Presidential Delivery Unit is in the province to monitor the efficiency of healthcare services. The PDU team visited some health facilities in Mansa district to check the availability of drugs, the state of the blood banks and mother's shelter. Details in this report.
The 2022-2026 National Health Strategic Plan aims at ensuring equitable access to quality healthcare to all in Zambia, as close to the family as possible, leaving no one behind. In tracking the implementation of the plan and adhering to presidential directives on health policies, the Presidential Delivery Unit is in Luapula Province to monitor the efficiency of healthcare services.
We are in your region, PS, to appreciate drug supply, blood bank services, and quality health services around maternity annexes. This is important for us because, you know, it's a presidential directive that every woman should have a safe space to bring life into this world, and they should have the commodities that they require, the product that they require to ensure this safe delivery, which is the blood and efficient drug supply. We also recognize that citizens deserve to have adequate medication for us to grow a healthy economy, thereby ensuring that there is effective supply of medicines in health facilities.
And the Provincial Health Office have an update on the implementation of health services in the province.
So the target for the province is to ensure that all district health offices and storerooms have got CCTVs. So we've got 12 district storerooms, and out of these, 2 districts have installed cameras, and the other 10 are in the process of doing this. And out of the 35 hospitals, the 2 level 2 hospitals, which is Mansa General Hospital and St. Paul's, and one mini hospital have installed cameras to just ensure that we enhance on security.
Meanwhile, Luapula Province Permanent Secretary Mighty Mumba has assured the PDU of the province's commitment to adequate delivery of health services.
For the safety of the drugs, yes, we are, as a province, we are bordering with our colleagues, Congo DR, and at times there are reports and confirmed reports of drugs going missing in our facilities, health facilities across the province, and we are busy working hand in hand with the Ministry of Health officials, ourselves. Each time we visit these facilities, we talk to our workers that are there.
Chipidi Makasa, reporting for ZANIS News in Mansa district.
And now on the Copperbelt province, AIDS Healthcare Foundation Zambia has invested over 1 million kwacha into the art department of Twapia Clinic and Ndola Teaching Hospital in Ndola district to supplement on healthcare services in the two health institutions. AIDS Healthcare Foundation Country Program Director Martin Matebishi highlighted that the funds will help in the provision of HIV and AIDS treatment and clinic care services in Ndola district. And finally, in sports news, Zambia Amateur Athletes Association President Elias Mpondela has expressed hope that the 4x400 men's relay team will remain qualified for the 2024 Paris Olympics by 30th June 2024. Mpondela says, at present, 6 athletes have qualified to the Olympics, citing sensational athlete Muzala Samukonga as among the athletes who have qualified in the 400 individual flat race and the 4x400 meters. Meanwhile, Mpondela disclosed that the Zambian athletics team has intensified preparations for the Olympics through training, camps and participation in continental championships. And the athletics team is currently in Douala, Cameroon, where they will be in camp for another 10 days. Well, that item brings us to the end of the news, and before I finish, we look at the headlines once again. KCM sets aside $270 million to clear creditors. Construction of local courts underway in Western Province. 200 houses for vulnerable individuals completed. Plus over 6,000 children born with heart complications. Well, that was all we had for you here at ZANIS, and on behalf of the entire production crew, thank you for being with us. It has been Margaret Kangwa, and my sign language interpreter has been Joas Shikomwe. Stay tuned.